In the extensive Final Fantasy series, there's one title that's widely praised as being the best. It's colourful, yet its story is surprisingly dark. It's a vast, rich world with charismatic and unforgettable characters. It's Final Fantasy X. Now remastered in HD, for fans of the series, this should be a dream come true. But will it live up to the nostalgia, or should it have stayed in the past? The game follows the story of Tidus, a young star Blitzball player with a feisty attitude. A giant evil being known as Sin attacks his home of Zanarkand, and Tidus is transported to a world that he doesn't recognize. While trying to find out where he is, Tidus meets Yuna, a summoner who's on a pilgrimage. He ends up joining Yuna and her guardians on their quest to defeat Sin. At face value, it seems like a pretty standard JRPG story. A righteous main hero who's out of place, a quest to defeat evil, blah 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 blah. But Final Fantasy X's story is so much more than that. It goes beyond the normal RPG story formula and tackles issues of inevitable death and sacrifice. The cutscenes are lengthy, and there's plenty of dialogue to wrap your head around, but the story has so many twists and turns that you're willing to forgive it. From the curving metropolis of Zanarkand to the delightful tropical island villages, the art style has definitely stood the test of time. Out of context, the characters may look odd, but within the world it feels cohesive. Instead of looking garish, they look colourful and unique. The HD cutscenes in particular look beautiful. However, this also just makes it impossible to ignore that the gameplay and dialogue feel pretty dated. While you can often look past the jerky body movement of the characters, the things that age it most are the static facial expressions and a lack of unique facial features on many characters. Even when faced with huge monsters and their impending doom, the characters often look like they're smiling for a school photo.
Stick a harpoon in it and we'll all get dragged under.
Sin is going for Kilika. We gotta distract it.
Our families are in Kilika. Forgive us, Lady Summoner.
Final Fantasy X was the first in the series to have full voice acting instead of scrolling text. With this in mind, the performances are pretty good, although the main characters are shown up slightly by the secondary characters. Tidus generally does a good job, but at times can be a bit jarring. For the rest of the party, however, the voice acting and character design work beautifully together.
Finally, things were starting to look up.
Gameplay consists of exploring turn-based battle systems and the odd puzzle-type area. Final Fantasy X does a fantastic job at portraying scale. By using different camera angles, it creates the impression of a huge world that your characters are only a small part of. Although, it can sometimes be a bit confusing to turn a corner and the camera has suddenly zoomed in, but overall, it helps to create variety in the world. The combat still feels like one of the most streamlined turn-based battle systems out there. With only 3 members at a time fighting and the ability to quickly swap characters in and out, the battles are fast-paced and incredibly enjoyable. You level up through the innovative Sqaure grid. Despite its intimidating appearance, it quickly becomes a very addictive part of the game, adding elements of tactics and collecting the spheres required to progress. Final Fantasy X HD Remaster is not just for those hoping for a trip down memory lane. When you play it, you're getting a masterclass in how to create a Final Fantasy game. Despite its HD facelift, it still shows signs of age every now and again, but the streamlined battle system and compelling story are just as engaging and enchanting now as they were over 10 years ago.